welcome back to my channel. Today I have a Pan That Palette / Pan in Every Palette update. I missed the May update, so just a little backstory. Late April I had the flu and then I got over that, and then we were out of town for almost 2 whole weeks. So I've just been kind of all over. I haven't really worn a ton of makeup in the last month, so there's not like much that happened that you guys are missing out on, but I am excited to get back into my routine, and I will be rolling in one new palette today, which is really exciting. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to start with the Pan That palette, which I am panning the Sultry palette this year. Like I said, I've kind of, played in here and picked at it, but I haven't used a ton of the shades in the past. When I traveled, I did not bring the palette with me, so that's kind of part of it, and I just haven't been wearing as much makeup. So anyway, I do have my notes here though of what I have tracked for usage, but before we get into that, let me just show you what it's currently looking like. So this is the palette. I do not have any new pans or new empty shadows, so it's looking pretty similar to what it did before, just maybe a little bit bigger of pans, but nothing, like brand new really to share. So let's just go through them. I'm using them in the same kind of manner. I don't know, once I figure out how I like to use a shade, I kind of just stick to it. So Steampunk, I'm just going to look at my notes as we go through, is this nice kind of like antiqued gold. Steampunk already has pan on it. I have tracked 17 uses as of my last update. I tracked 3 more, so I'm up to 20 for Steampunk. Next is Rose Quartz, which is the shadow I'm using on my eyes today. And I tracked 17 uses at my last update. I've used it 2 times that I've tracked since then, so I'm up to 19. Next is Ember. Ember does not have pan on it yet. Ember is kind of a shade that I'm using to deepen up the outer third of my eye look. At the last update, I had 27 uses on Ember and I used it twice, so now I'm at 29 uses. That one I am hoping to hit pan on in the next month or 2. It's pretty easy for me to use. I just don't use a ton of it, if that makes sense. Then over to Birch. This is probably the most used shade, I would say, and one that I go to the most. This is a great transition shade for me. It's kind of like my first crease shade. If I'm going to do multiple, I tend to go in with Birch first. So I had 26 uses. I've used it 9 times since the last update. So I'm at 35 uses for Birch overall. Moving down to the second row, Cinder I have not used since the last update, so I'm still at just 1 use. I have a similar shade that I'm working on, and I use them in the same manner, so this one's getting a little neglected. Twig I've used 5 times, so that puts me at 33 uses now. I had 28 before. Teak I did not use. Dystopian I did not use. Cyborg I used once. I do like to layer Cyborg with Steampunk. It kind of gives both a warm and cool tone on the eye. I think it's really pretty. So I used that once, and now I have a total of 6 uses, and I did not use Noir at all. So as far as goals, Cyborg and Ember are the only 2 without pan. I think it's more realistic for me to hit pan on Ember first, just because there is a little bit more of a defined dip going on in there. Outside of that though, I'm just trying to make sure I reach for at least 1 shade out of here each time I do my makeup, whether it be a crease shade or a lid shade or something that I'm smudging on the lower lash line, just something to make sure I'm having progress in here. This palette definitely is getting older. I've had it for a number of years now, and it does seem to flake a little bit easier, and I'm feeling like I need to pack on a little bit extra, so that's just a slight change. It's not irritating my eyes. I don't feel like I need to, get rid of it anytime sooner. My plan is to get rid of it at the end of the year. But yeah, that is where we're at. We're just going to keep on keeping on. So let's talk about pan in every palette. So my goal is to hit pan in 1 shade in every palette. Sultry kind of excluded because I'm working on trying to finish up some of those shades. So I have a pretty small eyeshadow collection. That's why it's actually kind of attainable for me. And what I'm doing is I'm rolling in 2 palettes to work on at a time. And then as soon as I hit pan on one of the shades, it rolls out and I roll a new palette in. So I do have a palette to roll out. That is the Natasha Denona Mini Retro palette. So it looks like this. It's a beautiful kind of like pinky green palette. It's been really nice. I've actually have really enjoyed using this in the winter time. It kind of gives like a nice icy tone with these greens. It's focusing on the shade Galaxia right here. Galaxia is a chunkier glitter, so it took me a while to actually hit pan once I dug down in there because it kept flaking and then it would sit there. So I do have a pan on it. It is very reflective, so it may be difficult to tell. I do have pan up in this corner. So very excited about that. I still really like the palette. Galaxia is a beautiful like rose gold shimmer that has a green flip to it. It's not super extreme, but just in the glitter particles, you can see like a glittery green catching the light sometimes. And it's gorgeous. I really, really liked it. So this is going to be rolling out. Let's see here. I used it 25 times to hit pan. So I had 18 uses. I used it 7 more times and then I hit pan, and then I've used it since, but I just kind of stopped tracking once I hit pan because that was my goal. So this is going to be rolling out, and I am excited to roll something else in a moment. The other palette that I have had is the Norvina palette from ABH. This is a newer palette to me. I got it as a birthday gift to myself in December. So this is what it's looking like. The shade that I'm focusing on does have some disruption down here. This is the shade Dazzling. So I'll just kind of come in here. It's a really pretty like browny rosy shade. I love to use it all over the lid as like a one shadow look. I'll give you a little swatch here. You can blend it out to be a little bit softer in the crease. It has a nice shine to it. I just really, really like this shade. And so that's kind of it saturated. I'll just kind of blend it around. When I wear this, I typically feel like it goes with any outfit. So you can see there it's blended out. It just has a really beautiful tone to it. I adore it because I can blend it out. If I couldn't blend it out, I don't think I'd like it as much, but it is pretty similar to Cinder. Cinder pulls a little bit cooler tone from my sultry palette, but this is my focus. So Dazzling, last time I had used it 5 times. I've used it 4 more times since then. I also did not bring this to New Orleans with me. So I have 9 uses on Dazzling. So I will just keep going on with it. I do think it'll be great for, you know, the summer. Just a quick like one shadow look is always nice to have in your back pocket. So let's roll in a new palette. I have 3 palettes left that I have not rolled in yet. So I already have my Pretty Random app set up here. I have from 2 to 4, and we're just going to give it a shake. So I got number 4. So let me see how that plays out on my spreadsheet. Okay, this is actually the palette I was hoping to get. So this is the ColourPop Wild Nothing palette. I actually am reaching in here for my Project Pan a little bit. I have one shade popped out right now. It's in my Z palette. That's the shade Coastline. Coastline is a really nice like inner corner highlight, icy type shade. Let's see here. It's this one right here. It's really beautiful. I just am kind of working on that as my side project. Like it's just my inner corner shade. Nothing too crazy there. I am working in my Project Pan on hitting pan in this dark brown down here. But I don't want to double dip. So I actually think I'm going to choose a different shade in here. And I'm leaning towards this green seashells shade right here. I think it's really pretty. It's a little bit different, but I'm also thinking about Alcove, which is the shimmery like coral next to it. I think it's just easier for me to hit pan on shimmers to begin with. I do have 2 Super Shocks in here, but they've actually been irritating my eyes, so I'm not going to keep using them. The glitter's like flaking out into my eyes. They're just drying up. So let me do a swatch of both of these shades on my hands so you can see them. The thing I like about this palette overall though is it's very neutral, but it's still colorful. Like it's not just brown. It's not just taupe. it has like these peaches and oranges, which I think is really nice. So, okay, let's look at these. So the top one here is alcove. This bottom one is seashells, the greener one. Both of them are pretty subtle, so I don't feel like I'd have issues using one over the other or incorporating them into my looks. I think I'm going to go with seashells, the green, just because I think it will pair with Ember really well for my sultry palette. And I also think it's going to pair well with the brown mattes in here, so I can get some more use out of this palette. Whereas the oranges I think might conflict with like the cool tone kind of nature of this palette. So I think I'm going to do seashells, the green in the palette. So that is, again, right here, really a beautiful shade. I'm really excited for this one. So I will start tracking my progress and how many uses I have on it starting tomorrow if I decide to use it tomorrow, but I will get my phone all set up to track those uses. I am guessing though it'll probably take me, seems like most shades are taking me between 30 and 35 uses. So that's what I would guess. And I'm not sure if I'm going to have pan on either my Norvina palette or Nothing or Wild Nothing palette by next update. We'll just have to see. But that is going to be it. I'm really excited for my new shades. I mean, I'll still probably grab for alcove sometimes since this palette will be out more. But I'm really happy that this is the one that got rolled in because it just kind of works with the other things that I have going on. Just in case if you are wondering, that means I have 2 palettes left that'll eventually roll in this year, and they are the ColourPop That's Taupe and Bare Necessities palettes. So just 2 more other ColourPop palettes, but yeah, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know how your eyeshadow projects are going, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.